Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching and taking the time out of your day to listen to what I gotta say. In today's video, I want to be talking about Gary Trent Jr., who is a lot of Raptors fans, I think, want to see get moved or get traded for some pieces to either help us now or kind of kick off the rebuild. But I'm viewing him as someone who I would like to keep for a rebuild. He's only 24 years old, and over the 4 years he's been in the league has shown clear improvements across the board, and is now in his fourth year, I think, a truly effective three-level scorer. And honestly, probably one of the better shooters in the league. The guy shoots over the last 3 years. He shot 41% on catch and shoot threes and 43% on wide open threes on pretty good volume, which is really good. And in pull-ups, he's shooting about 34% over the last 4 years, or 3 years, and in the last 15 games, he's shooting about 57% on his pull-up threes. This is a guy who came into the league. Everyone knew he could shoot. Everyone knew he can get off from three, and he can score. But what else can he do? And what can he do if his three-point shot is not falling? And at the beginning of the year, his three-point shot was not falling, and he did look a little bit rough. But I saw some things that really gave me a lot of confidence and showed that he worked a lot over the offseason to improve those areas of his game. And now that his three-point shots come back around, he's been pretty effective. Per 75, he scores about 21 points on about league average efficiency, which is really good. And just some of his other shooting numbers. He's currently shooting 66% at the rim, which is the highest of his career by far. And I think is about a 60 or 8% increase since last year. He's shooting 49% in the mid-range on about 6 attempts per game, which is better efficiency than Chris Paul and Bradley Beal on similar attempts, and a similar efficiency to guys like Jaylen Brown, who are thought of about elite scorers. I don't think Gary Trent Jr. is quite there on the elite scorer end, but I think he's shown that he can be a very high teens, low 20s effective scorer who can get you a bucket from anywhere on the floor. The free throw rate is still not that good at only about 24%, but that's about a 6% increase since last year, so he's showing that he's more confident taking contact, getting to the line, and when he's at the line, he shoots really well, right about 81% on the year. And yeah, I keep kind of seeing these things like, oh, we should trade him, we should put him in a package with Fred, but like, why? He's a 24-year-old who is a three-level scorer who's shown very positive growth over his short career. Has shown that he has very good ability to accept a role on a team and play in it. He doesn't really ever do too much, I think. I think he takes the amount of shots that I want to see him to take. I think he makes a lot of really smart plays on the offensive end. Sure, sometimes he takes a couple of bonehead three-pointers or like a pull-up mid-range, but I'm fine with it because I think any great scorer has the confidence to take those shots, even when they're not the best shots, and Gary Trent Jr. has that confidence himself to take those shots, and that's what you want to see. I really like this year how good he's been operating in the pick and roll. He's not very good at passing out of the pick and roll. Is kind of only looking to score in the pick and roll, but he's very, very good of snaking the pick and roll, getting the defender on his hip, and then either pulling up for a nice mid-range or getting a foul there. And I think that is kind of the next step for Gary Trent Jr. How effectively can he draw fouls, and can he up his rim volume just a little bit? I think why people are kind of more concerned about him and either want to see him moved or put into a trade is for two reasons. I think the lack of playmaking is kind of concerning, but I mean, he's a shooting guard. Sure, I think we've kind of got spoiled in today's NBA where kind of players, and especially guards, are expected to be able to play, make, score, and shoot at a high level. And sure, he can't play, make at a high level, but he can score and shoot at a high level, so he got about half of it done. And when you look at this team, we want kind of Pascal or Scotty Barnes to be the primary ball header. We don't want Gary Trent Jr. being the point guard, so I'm fine with his playmaking numbers looking like what they are. I think he's pretty solid at making the next pass or moving the ball around. I don't think he kind of just like dead balls it too often, so I'm not too concerned about that. I think the second thing a lot of people are pretty worried about is the fact that he has a player option next year and they don't want to see him walk away for nothing, which I do get because the Toronto Raptors don't have the best track record of retaining free agents or even attracting free agents, and he's a very high value free agent. You know, shooting's at an all-time premium in the league. He's still young. He's shown that he can be effective inside the arc, so I think a lot of teams would want him, but I think we don't really have an option of losing him unless we can somehow replace his shooting. He's our best shooter. This team already has terrible shooting splits, And to just see Gary Trent Jr. go would be, I think, that much damning for our offense. And if the team does want to go in a rebuilding kind of path, I have no problem with the team paying him around $21 million per year. I think he's worth maybe a little bit less than that. But when you look at other contracts around the league, the way the salary cap's going, and the premium of shooting, I think it's a pretty fair yearly sum for him. He's still young, so that doesn't mean he stuck. Sure, growth or improvement isn't linear like that, and people don't just get better year after year. But I think Gary Trent Jr. has shown that he has the work ethic, the skill, and I think the Raptors have a good development coach to kind of continue for him to get better year after year. And I would hate to see Gary Trent Jr. leave or get traded, and then in 2 years he's an all-star or right around there and is one of the best role players in the league. Just kind of looking more about why I think too people are worried about paying him money is because you're looking around and it's like, oh, Tyler Hero is getting paid 30 mil. These guys are getting paid 30 million a year, and I don't think he's worth that much. But when you're looking at guys his age, similar draft positions at similar kind of production levels, guys like Kevin Porter Jr., Kelton Johnson are all making more money than him, and I think he's kind of right. Those guys are making about $19 to $20 million a year, and I think that's a pretty fair deal for Gary Trent Jr. So yeah, I don't know. I really want to see the Raptors hold on to him. I really like him as a player. I think he's shown on the defensive side too that he's committed, he tries hard, he puts a lot of effort in, and it's not like, I don't know, I think sometimes people see guys who are out there and they give the spark of energy, like a Chris Boucher. Chris Boucher comes in and plays with a lot of energy. Does that energy always help the team? Is that positive energy? I don't know. I think that's up for debate. I think Chris Boucher, especially when his three-point shot isn't falling because it never does, it's just not very effective due to his size and other things, but that's a whole other topic. But Gary Trent Jr. is a guy who comes in, who plays with energy, but is never like reckless or is just like, oh, I need to get a shot off here. Like, he's a guy who is confident in his ability, but also understands that he needs to get his shot off within the flow of the offense, and he does that at a very high level. And I would hate to see the Toronto Raptors move off of Gary Trent Jr. But yeah, thank you for watching the video. That's what I kind of got to say about him. Talking about the rest of the Toronto Raptors, I don't know what to say about our team, man. It's pretty disappointing. I think the rest of the league just got better around us, and we didn't get better or good enough with them, and now we're kind of stuck in this weird position where we have really good pieces, but we just don't have enough to win on an every nightly basis. But yeah, thank you for listening, and take it easy.